Hi, I'm Lena, and welcome to another pick a card reading. This was a request from Yabo. But before we go into that, I just want to thank everyone who's viewed, liked, subscribed, and commented on my videos so far. Thank you so much, guys. I think you're just awesome, and it's great to hear back from you. So today's question is, what can you tell me about the zodiac sign and the physical attributes of my future spouse? It's almost a continuation from the clues to my future spouse, especially for option number 3, if you watch that video. So we're going to be looking at option number 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm going to try and find out what the likely zodiac sign is and the physical attributes of your future spouse. But just remember that this is just for fun and it's general. And zodiac signs, people don't always show the attributes of their absolute sun sign. Things do change and the charts are always changing. So we're going to be looking more at the energies that they display rather than when their physical birthday is. So let's begin with option number 1. I think this is coral. Sorry, this is I think it's Clear Quartz, and this is carnelian, and this again is moonstone. So let's start with option number 1, the coral. So we'll look at the zodiac sign last. Let's look at the physical attributes. So we've got the 10 of swords, the chariot, party, the maze, the dice, and the mice. So it looks like your future spouse is someone who could be physically fit. They could have gone through military or some other rigorous physical training. It could even be in sports. They could wear a uniform or recently come out of a uniform when you meet them. And I think they're not particularly above average in height or build, but they are very fit and it does show. They do dress up well, probably either very, very casually or very, very trendily. They may always look like they're ready to party, and they could have very current hairstyles, very current clothes, and they take their physical appearance very it's a big deal to them, it has to be just so. So they may be smaller in build compared to you. They could have small eyes, small hands and feet, or be somehow very almost dainty, or sort of it would be dainty in a female. In a male, it would be more like precise in their movements, but in a graceful kind of way. They may also be very changeable. So they could vary their clothes and their look and their style of talking or presenting themselves depending on the people that they're around and how they feel. So I feel that they may not always look the same every day. They could often change their hair color, often change, wear colored lenses for their eyes, things like that. They could also like being formal in their approach to people and in their dressing. So their eye color can vary, their hair color can vary, and they are probably a little bit on the shorter side. And almost formal in their approach to people. They have very good manners. And they're very high energy. So they probably like dancing or they like sports, but they run out of energy quickly. Even though they are quite fit, they might run out of energy very quickly. And they might have a very short attention span. So they probably dart all over the place. 1 minute they're next to you and the next minute they're across the room. And I just get a lot of partying and concerts and being in that kind of scene. So they might belong to a special scene, especially one that tends towards being very trendy at the time when you meet them. So let's see what their zodiac signs might be. We've got the Lovers, which is Gemini, the Hermit, which is Virgo, and Strength, which is Leo. So they have a very strong mercurial aspect. So they could be very good speakers, or they, it could account for why they have short attention spans as well. So number one, your future spouse is likely to be a Leo, sporty, the Hermit or Virgo, and the Lovers or Gemini. So that is what I have for you if you chose option number one, the physical attributes of your future spouse and their likely zodiac sign. So let me just leave this here. So if you chose option number two, the quartz, let's see what you have for the physical attributes of your future spouse. So you've got the Two of Pentacles, the Queen of Cups on the flip side, the Key, these are all reversed, the Tower, the Bridge, and the Woman. So it looks like they are very agile, very good at balancing. They could work in some kind of environment where they need to keep their balance a lot. So possibly on a ship, on high buildings. They may work on ropes, or have to tether, am I saying it right, themselves in places. They could have light-colored hair, blondish, and they could have green eyes or light blue eyes, or the lighter eyes. If not, it could even be hazel. They're quite thin, or when you meet them, they may be on the thin side. They could be quite tall, be very stern in their face, and have something that says that they're actually quite strong within. So it's not someone that you would take lightly. They also have broad shoulders, and they could be very feminine or in their feminine energy. They could also be very fair-skinned. They could be slightly older than you. They could wear something on their hair. It could be a hat. It could be it could be something like a hair grip, or just something that seems both decorative and authoritative on their head. So it's most likely a hat or a cap or something like that, and likely to if they are fair-skinned and if they are working outdoors, they could have a nice tan, broad shoulders. And I think they like very solid things. They like high quality things. So their clothes would be high quality, and they feel very much like a an earth sign. So we've got the moon, which is Pisces, the devil, which is Capricorn, and the star, which is Aquarius. So they could be any of these. For many of you, I feel it could be Capricorn because of their liking for high quality and things that are obviously of value. They also like to look good, and even though they may not like being the center of attention, I think they carry it very well. So very agile, on the tall or lighter or skinnier or wiry side in terms of build, and they have a hint of steel in them. So they could also be very strong or give the impression of being very strong. So that is what I have for you if you chose option number 2. So let's look at option number 3, which is the carnelian. So we'll leave these aside for now. What does your future spouse physically look like? So we have the Hierophant, the 5 of coins, or the 5 of pentacles, the phone, the lady, the tree, and the mask. So this person could wear a lot of makeup or some kind of base on their face, which conceals their tone or their skin tone in some way. They could be in the arts or work in media, so they'll dress accordingly, perhaps very trendy or very also I'm feeling casually, unless they're a teacher, because they could also be a teacher, and then they may have very old clothes. The hair color could be between brown to platinum blonde, but I'm feeling for most people it's going to be changeable with the seasons. They also have a deeper coloring or a deep tan, or that's the impression, that may not be natural. It could be something that they do cosmetically. I feel they would have green to brown eyes. A few may have eyes where the color seems to change depending on what they wear or on their mood, because they could be quite moody. And they could also change how they look very quickly. So they could be very formal and if they're visiting family, or if they're going to a temple or church, they could be very formal and very appropriate for that location. And then when they, in a moment, they could switch around and be ready to go out with their friends and party. They're very stable. They give the sense of being very grounded, very stable. They may like wearing brown or have a lot of brown tones around them. And maybe a little bit of purple as well could also be a color that they wear often. They don't have a lot of money to spend on the way they look. I don't feel they go often to the gym. But it doesn't matter, because they make good life choices and they take care of what they eat, and they may walk around more than take the bus or the car. So they're actually quite fit, and they're very concerned that they give the right impression. So they could be a Chariot or Cancer, Death, Scorpio, or Justice, Libra. So we have 2 water signs for them with Cancer and Scorpio, and then Libra with Justice. So they always look appropriate for where they're going. They can change a little bit in terms of hair color, but it's probably more due to the season. Their skin tone and makeup is more because of of their job or the impression that they need to convey. And it may be difficult to read their expressions. I feel their body height and weight can also vary from very chubby or curvy to really quite tall and well built. But generally they carry themselves very well and very elegantly, and they may have a way of gathering attention around them without even trying. So that's what I have for you if you chose option number 3, the physical attributes and the zodiac sign of your future spouse. So let's look at the last one, option number 4, which is the moonstone. What do we have for their zodiac sign and physical attributes? So we have death, the 2 of swords, crystal, the flowers or the bouquet, home, and the bear. So I feel this person may be tall, they may have a lot of hair. A few of the guys could be bald. They have a very almost hard quality to them. So they seem very stable and planted in who they are and very protective. So the impression they give is one of stability and, almost like a bouncer, but maybe not so intense. They also give the impression that they're thinking very deeply about what you said and trying to balance it. But they also have a very beautiful air around them, or very traditionally beautiful or handsome features. They could be very strong. And if they aren't hairy, they could have clothes that are cozy. Like Angora and cashmere and woolly clothes, especially in winter. And one of them could have, or a couple of them could have a special woolly hat, which they always carry around with them. They may wear red often, reds and blues. And they would set it off with grays and light blues, or those kind of tones, blues to gray. And I feel many of them would have that hair color or eye color, the blue-gray, going towards hazel. They may also have a twinkle in their eye, especially when they're amused, but you don't, or you may not see it very often at first. And it's because they have such a unreadable expression at times. What else can I see about them? They may have a very delicate touch and do very delicate work, which may seem at odds with their physical build. They could work with jewelry, they could work with very small components if they're making things. And a few of them are actually very good chefs as well. Or they may like eating without really putting on any weight. So for them, we've got the Emperor, which is Aries, the Hierophant, which is Taurus, and Temperance, which is Sagittarius. So what else can I see about them? So they also have a very strong magnetism. I hope I pronounced it right. And again, they give you the sense that they're considering carefully what you're saying, even though that may not be so. They could be silently thinking about something else entirely. And they take up a lot of space. No matter what their build is, no matter what gender they are, they tend to take up a lot of space, if not physically, then with the things that they have, their bags, their coats, and everything. They just take up a lot of space. So be prepared to share your space if you chose option number 4. So that is all I have for you for today. I hope you enjoyed it. It is just for fun, so let me know what resonated with you if you already met your future spouse, and if you haven't, may you meet them soon and be very, very happy. So thank you for watching, and I'll catch you around next time. Keep those vibes high.